I wouldn't call the show R-rated, but it's a little when
it's officially a PG-rated show.
It is officially
official.
okay, the official PG rating, but it's not what you would think of when you say PBS show.
Yeah.
So when you guys were getting into these conversations with PBS, what was that like in the beginning? And was there ever a conversation of, a push and pull of what would be allowed, what wouldn't be allowed, and how did you guys manage that?
They're looking for a younger audience, right? They're number one on people 0 to 8 or 0 to 7 and 70 plus, right? So the willingness to take some edginess, our partner at WCNY, our PBS carrying station, Mitch Gelman, was a guy that was willing to take some risks. And Alex and I, we got together and we were making a pilot at the time. And we're like, well, let's just see. We don't want to change our story. So the pilot episode was called The Boss Bitch Brunch, right? And it was about breaking the gender the glass ceiling and the gender pay gap and those type of things around a brunch, and we threw this party. And Mitch was really open and accessible to it. So a lot of the markets we've talked to have been willing to do that. We've had some pushback, so I can't speak to other than we're trying to keep it authentic, and I don't want to be like keep it real, but we're trying to be as real with it as we can. So I mean, I'd like to go farther, and Alex is really great about knowing where the line is. Like I'll cross it and then he can pull me back and we can get better at that kind of approach to it, I think. But I love the way that we're doing it, and we want to go further, and we're going to keep pushing the envelope. That's just
I mean, the way that we went in with a pitch with the Boss Bitch Brunch. I mean, so like there was no other way. Like let's just see. We talked about it a lot. We had a quote from Guy Fieri on one of our pages on one of our slides that it was pretty hard quote, or like let's just leave it, because if they don't like it, that's what our show is. We're not trying to water it down. We understand we can't swear and we can't say certain things, and we get it. But like the edginess factor of it's still going to exist. There's a lot of jokes that, I mean, we have to make these content flags for all of our season. It's a fun experience because we get to go through our episodes and write down the things that are inappropriate. Now, we have this weird back and forth of like, they might not get this joke unless we call it out. Let's not call this one out. Let's leave this one alone. Like they don't understand what that means. So we have a lot of these jokes. We've been pulled back from the line a couple times. And for right or wrong reason, they were a little bit borderline jokes, but we keep trying and we keep pushing. And because PBS, I mean, at the end of the day, they need the younger audience. They need that demographic. And we know that for a fact, that whether they like us or not, whether the individual station likes us or not, or thinks that we're appropriate, they need the audience, just like all of us need our audiences. So if they choose not to take it for that reason, then we don't want to be on there. I mean, that's the end of it.
Right. I totally agree. And actually, I'm gonna double down on what Alex just said and go back to your R-rated comment. We've talked about this a lot. We want to make an R-rated cooking show where we're cursing and doing different things on it. I think someone that we look up to a lot, like Anthony Bourdain, that dude, like PG-13, that's like miles behind that guy, right? And we'll never be, he's like the most special, food guy of all time. But my point in that is he just went hard on all sorts of things, but he also made it clear what he thought about it, what he believed in. So where we're going with this is we want to continue going hard about that and make dirty jokes, but it works on our end because we're able to say, look, man, we believe in sex positivity and we don't kink shame, but we'll food shame. You shouldn't have, it's only blue cheese with wings, not ranch. But those jokes allow us to really connect with the audience because they're expecting that. It might catch them a little bit while they're scrolling on their phone or it's in the background. But on top of that, though, it also gives us the freedom to make those jokes that we want to make. So we establish that. And I think that's one of the things that if you think about content that really sticks, and whether it's social media things like Mel Robbins, she'll talk about something, or Call Her Daddy, that get pretty racy, but they have their core belief system is still very present. Like a movie that I think about a lot, and we could never go there, but like Gran Torino, right? Yeah. This movie is R-rated. It is super aggressive. It is super offensive and racist and all of these things. And you love this guy at the end of the movie, right? In spite of all those things, and actually in some cases because of those things, right? So that's not the area that we can play in because it's not really our sense of humor, but that direction is what we're keep striving for. So not R-rated yet, but we're trying.
Yeah, I mean, the reason Call Her Daddy is she's a great interviewer, but she says the thing that you're thinking. That in any
totally
media, you want them to ask the question that you want to ask and that you're curious about. Now, you can push that whatever level you want, but for us, they get caught off guard, as Matt said, like the pop-ups that, I come in there and they can see the friendship and poke fun at Matt, but Matt will say stuff that they're not expecting. And that's what people want. Like that's the authenticity, because everybody was thinking it, but you didn't say it on TV. You're not being authentic. This is what they want. And so I believe that's why some of those shows, and Call Her Daddy is a great one, a great example, is why it's so successful. And Barstool is because they just say whatever's on their mind. You just got to figure out how you rein it in and how you keep it, aligned to your values and brands.
And how do you work it into the time, right? So you're right about aligning it to your brands and everything. And like one of the things that I have to get better at after watching season 3 multiple times as we've been proofing it and content flagging and all these things, there are a lot of times where jokes end up on the cutting room floor because they have to be cut because of the duration of the time that's on there. And Alex does an incredible job at editing these and making it work through that. But it's on me, a couple failures that I've been trying to work for them and practicing this. And we're going to try it as we shoot this Thursday. By we, meaning me. I will find, like, if you ever see a show like Law and Order, you ever see them talk on the phone, they're ever like, hey, what's up? It's Stabler. How's it going? Oh, like, oh, Alex, what's up? It's always like, and then quick to the point, then they answer because they're saving those 4 or 5 seconds to use in other dialogue. So in the last episode that we were just proofing, I was watching it and I'm like, okay, now we're going to do this. And like the next thing we do is this. So what I'm going to try to do is reduce that so I can work in a double entendre here or like a dirty joke there or like a sex reference there. But it's hard trying to manage that. So at the same time, we want to double down on the coolness factor, the authentic factor, the dirty joke factor, the mental health factor. But you've got to find a way to fit that in while still creating the content. And it's super hard. Like you're having really cool guests on this show. And your setup here is really cool. After 2 or 3 episodes, you go back and like, oh my God, I should have changed this lighting, or like
you're gonna have to figure out how to edit all that out right now.
Yeah,
that's gonna be your challenge.
I'm gonna have to edit that out to fit something in later.
Totally, absolutely.
No, that's great. There's a lot of things going wrong in the media landscape right now, I think that everyone can agree on, but I do agree that one thing that is going very right is you can't not have a stance. And I think you guys are great at it. You can't have all the benefits of riding the line and then never standing up for anything. So I think it's really great that you guys also, take that into account.
It's important. I mean, listen, we have a lot of beliefs and we truly want everybody to be at our parties, everyone, right? And so we treat everyone the same and we treat everyone as friends. And so like, it's important that we show that. And you got to do it the hard way sometimes. Matt has to do it in front of the camera more than I do, but it's the same belief both of us have,
Yeah, I think that, obviously our belief system aligns. We're, pretty tight and in business together. But when you're thinking about making a stand on things, you don't need to open your shirt and like, here's my Superman chest or like whatever side of the spectrum you're on.
You did that one time on a video though.
I did.
That exact thing.
I did do that exact thing. But like, you don't have to be like, I'm this side or I'm that side. You let make it clear how you feel about things over time in social media. Like we had a Women's History Month post that was important to us because that issue is important to us, right? Now it's not in every episode and we're not sitting there being like, oh my God, this is the feminist cooking show because we're about to make a joke. We're going to do this party where we're going to use a vibrator as like an agitator to make a thing. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So my point in all that is like you layer in over time as it's part of the conversation. Like if someone wanted to talk about politics, that this isn't the show for them. You can find shows that do that, but everybody seems to have been rage baiting everybody for a while. And I see the pendulum swinging backwards a little bit. I don't know if you agree with that.
We want everybody to come and watch our show and just break away from everything else. Like watch your show and be like, that's my friends.
Yeah.
I could throw that party. Oh my God, I did that with my friends one time. Oh, that reminds me of a time when I used to go out and do whatever. Like we threw a prom this year and it was like, I think out of any of the episodes we've ever done, really everybody was like, I still have my prom dress. Oh my God, I didn't get to go to prom, right?
Yeah.
And so like there was so much feedback on the episode in a good way that people were so excited for it. And like, so our goal in that, you talk about the prep, is like, let's throw them the best fucking prom we've ever had. Like they've ever had. Like, let's throw it off. Let's make it off the charts prom. And we tried our best to do that because that's what people wanted. So on top of filming a show, which is incredibly challenging at times, we are throwing a party and we want the party to be the best party they've been to. And so there's both sides of that. Like you really, it's hard to do both sometimes.
Yeah, and you learn in those moments for the good things too. Like the prom was an awesome party, a great episode. We did a bunch of different things, really stretching ourselves. A couple of things we shot were the first time we were shooting them. The way that we did the set, everything, a lot of that was really new. And the party was awesome. But I remember at one point, one of our friends was like, "Hey, I can't make it, but by the way, you unintentionally weren't as inclusive in this like email invite to the crew as you should have been." And that was great feedback to get. It sucks to hear that sometimes. And you're like, all right, you know what? I got to make this I got to make an adjustment next time. And they knew that it was just like, hey, I didn't mention this one thing in there. But those small things, it's hard for me personally, as things are going well, to not get hung up on a small mistake there. But you've got to be aware of them and learn from them at the time, because that prom is always going to be one of the favorite things I think that we've done. But there's 3 or 4 things in the process of making it that we need to learn from. Absolutely. I mean, we're discussing a couple of them last week. So I think that's an important aspect as you're going forward, is being willing to do that, you know?
Yeah. I think in the pursuit of greatness, a lot of times people lose sight of everything else around them.
Yes.
And it could be a huge detriment. How do you guys balance, still learning, always learning from your mistakes, and knowing that inevitably there's going to be mistakes? You're going to look back, something you do a year from now, in 5 years, you're going to look back and be like, oh my God, that was ridiculous that I did that. How do you strike that balance of doing those things while also being very appreciative and being happy where you're at? How does that balance?
It's so hard to stay in the moment, like incredibly hard. 'Cause you're right. Like we always talk about this is like the end goal. Like, let's just say we get to an end goal. It could be like, we get to control everything right now. Like, throw a party. We could throw a party anywhere we want. We pick a place and we talk someday when we're on a network, we might not have that ability to do all this stuff the way we do it. We might have a different crew. We might have everything might change, and it might not be as fun anymore in that setting. So we have to enjoy these times. And so we make sure we throw these parties at the end. We filmed a BTS doc this year, which was like, our buddy Ryan shot all season for us and just shot these cool moments and interviewed us as the moment's going on. 'Cause you never know when the last season's going to be. You never know when it's going to end. You never know what's going to happen next. So like, it's really, and that's like one way that I have found to like enjoy the moment is like rewatching those, because every time we rewatch that same doc, you're like, oh my God, this was the most fun. Right. And it has nothing to do with where it airs or its success. It was just fun. And so it is hard. Like the mistakes, listen, as you go in your career, mistakes get easier. Like, oh, I forgot. Like there's a black frame there. I noticed it. No one else will. I still hate it every time it happens, but I get more and more used to that happening.
Yeah. Stay in the moment, I think, is the best advice. I want to think about try to manage your mental health and like take your own temperature. I tend to get pretty emotional. It's both my strong suit and my biggest weakness. So being aware of that is one thing, but then not getting too wary of it. So it's a fine line. And I find I screwed up more than I don't, but at least trying to work on it is one of those things, because I think staying in the moment, like Alex said, that's the number one most important aspect of it. But the rest of it is you get so caught up being busy and doing these things that, you're working till 11 o'clock every night. And then the next day it was like, oh my God, we were just like shooting with professional wrestlers in here. But then the next day you're like, oh, we got a call with this guy from the cattle company, or like we got a problem with this thing, or I forgot to do this thing. You know what I mean? So it's hard to stay on top of it all.